Hello everyone, this is Koji from Celsius Rhythms. Well, it's hard to keep up with what's happening out in the cosmos. It's just unbelievable, bang, bang, bang. There's so many powerful events. And I guess I predicted it between the 14th and the 24th. That is such a wild time. And we're right in the middle of it right now. So, yesterday, let's start with that one. The sun was at the galactic center, dead on exact. And this is what I wrote here on my Facebook page, Celestial Rhythms, which I'm inviting anyone who is interested to join. That's where I post more regularly, pretty much every day a few posts. So, sun at the galactic center, that was yesterday. At what was it? Friday, right? The 18th of December, 9:31 in the morning. The sun's yearly alignment with the central sun opens the next chapter of spiritual evolution, which is all about bringing humanity yet another step closer to maturity, so we may become an equal member of the galactic community. So every year, once the sun aligns with the galactic center, and this is really a reset, a moment of getting a new input from the galactic center, that energy beaming in through the sun and kind of crystallizing the energy in the solar system at that time. So if we look at the astrology of that moment, it was quite remarkable. This is the chart for Greenwich, and I would like to start with that one, as it shows the asteroid Pallas right in midheaven. Pallas again, standing for justice, truth. It's the power of the mind. Also, the asteroid which rules science and art. It's the ability to observe and then put the patterns together and rearrange them in the proper way, understand what is happening, realize, look through the grid. That power of Pallas right up here, and being the leading factor in this big stellium here. Pallas has been coming from here in the early degrees of Capricorn and overtaken Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn on its way, kind of being recharged by these planets, and now is the leading factor. And naturally the moon then is the next one to pick that up, was right at 18 degrees Aquarius yesterday when this happened. So if we look at the heliocentric chart for this moment, now you see geocentric Saturn just barely now in the new sign of Aquarius, did so on the 17th, which I was also posting about. So if we look at this moment heliocentrically, now watch this. Now Saturn is exactly in midheaven. Saturn being the one who is taking over the power and stomping down its foot for justice and truth. The law, that's the one word for Saturn, if you want to put it in a nutshell. Whereas Jupiter is the higher teachings, the spiritual teachings. Jupiter is the one which expands, which brings us the whole universe into our home, into our perspective, into our horizon. Jupiter is the one which always ventures out farther. Saturn is the one which is containing, concise, which also puts structure on everything, understands the laws behind it. Saturn in that position, opposed by Hygeia, nonetheless, and Varuna. HAUMEA is the asteroid linked to well-being, health, and being in the right moment in the right place. Varuna is named after a Hindu deity, very much assigned to righteousness and justice and truth. It's that strong desire to see everything as correctly and perfectly as possible, get everything totally right and exact. So this is the energy which is in the consciousness axis globally, and also HAUMEA naturally is about all that concerns about our health and such. So there is this big opposition going on also still. The lockdowns can be seen in this light too here with HAUMEA. However, as this alignment also shows that this in the end will be something which is used in a way that it will be of service, that there is something coming out of that which we can't even see it. Another powerful thing here in the heliocentric astrology was that Venus is at 0 degrees Scorpio, Mars is conjunct Sedna in Taurus. This in itself, that Mars-Sedna conjunction, is also showing you that there is no compromise right now anymore. Sedna is ruling the alien worlds, all the secrets. That also speaks of disclosure is happening at the accelerated pace, as we all know. So this is just showing you the heliocentric picture, the base energy behind, how the sun was receiving that energy from the galactic core and then crystallizing these energies around it, and that's how they would express in Greenwich the heliocentric, the geocentric picture. And then now let's look at the one in North America, right? I have it right here. I forgot pulling that chart up, but I have it right here. I wanted to quickly show you as I'm writing about it here. That's the one for Washington, D.C. I hope it's big enough you can see it here. So in Greenwich at that time, 9:30 in the morning, as I said, Jupiter was rising, exactly opposed by CYLLARUS. Now there is a little story here which I want to quickly tell you. Jupiter is the planet of highest degree, 2947 Capricorn at that moment when the sun was exact on the galactic center. And don't take that lightly, because Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, where the galactic center is, where the sun is right now. So Jupiter is the dispositor of the sun being the main energetic driver in any astrological chart, because that's where the energy is coming from. So then there is HAUMEA, that planet which is named after the Hawaiian goddess of creation. That is here, HAUMEA. Here you see her up here, T-squaring the ascendant and descendant, and T-squaring Jupiter and CYLLARUS. And this is, okay, my puppy is just wanting my attention here for a minute. Okay, here I'm back. So, okay, HAUMEA, it's all about creation. And it's a fiery energy, T squaring descendant by 11 minutes of arc, implying new creation, further supported by CHARIKLO, holding the energy of a midwife. CHARIKLO is Chiron's wife. Very much about the transformation of shadow energy and healing, bringing to balance, assisting where it's necessary, assisting Jupiter in rebirthing the American nations. PLUTO. Why do I now end up with PLUTO? Because PLUTO is right there to the American nations. PLUTO, I will show you, just go back here. So PLUTO in the American nations chart is at 2732 Capricorn. And that PLUTO is what we are really working on collectively, that PLUTO energy, to clean that, to cleanse it. PLUTO is about power and that energy of the underground, of the underbelly. It is an extremely intense energy which has to be tamed in a way, to be used in a good way, in a healthy way. There has to be lots of consciousness in it, and that is that greater theme which I touched on several times too, which is that square Eris and Pluto are forming. It's a very long-lived aspect, so to say, between 2019 and 2023 roughly. That angle is very exact, multiple times between those two. Literally the cleansing of the Plutonic energy. I should mention that Eris is really the one which has been already working on Pluto quite a bit. In 2004 or 3, Eris was discovered to be slightly bigger than Pluto at the time. Now I guess this has been readjusted. Pluto is still a bit bigger, but at the time Eris was considered to be bigger, and that threw the whole astronomical community a bit into a difficult situation. Should they now give Eris the status of planet number 10, which would open the door for many, many more little planets to be added onto the category of planethood, so to say. And the other option would be to just create a whole new category in itself and kind of roll back Pluto's planetary status, which was then also done, because the last big planet really is so much bigger. Neptune is about 50,000 kilometers in diameter versus Pluto, which is something like 2,000, 3,000 in that range. Actually smaller than our Earth's moon, which is about 4,000 kilometers in diameter. So it gives you a bit of the proportions. Pluto is definitely much, much smaller and has now been classified as a minor planet. So just this was really the first strike Eris hit Pluto with, to take its planetary status away in 2006, that was. Now this square has been forming. Eris is moving slower, is farther away from the sun, so Pluto has been edging closer to that aspect, and this is really that time frame of challenging Pluto, of checking on it and X-raying that energy. Those of you who are kind of new to Eris, E-R-I-S, by the way, it's a bit hard to keep it apart from the sign Aries, where it is in at the time too, actually for 120 years. That's how long Eris is in this sign, since 1924 or so till about 2040 something, which is a big epoch in itself, which I talked about several times. It's kind of the last time this happened was during Renaissance, so this in itself seems to be a phase reoccurring every whatever 650 years of increased opening of the human mind to new dimensions, new levels of realities. So Eris is named after the Greek goddess who threw the golden apple of discord into the table round, triggering the Trojan Wars. Very meaningful. There was this slumbering conflict between the gods. Eris said, okay, let's face it, let's confront that issue and battle it out. That's kind of the energy Eris brings in. And on that note, you see there is this Mars-Eris conjunction sitting at the third house cusp of that chart, which kind of is the seed of this energy, of this galactic energy for the next 12 months. So this is big. This is an important moment. On the third house cusp, together with the Black Moon and Uranus also in the third house about communication and what people think, the information flow. So we see it is kind of a very forceful awakening, which is indicated here to digest and stumble upon the shadows and bring them into the daily consciousness, as this is the third sign which resonates with Gemini energy, and we have the North Node in Gemini. So this present 18-month period, roughly between summer 2020 and the end of 2021, is all about that Gemini energy to be seeded more into the collective. Gemini again to bring down higher level insights into the lower mind, to make it explainable, to show it, to roll it out, to present wisdom in a way that everyone can understand it and digest it and wrap their minds around it. That's kind of the energy we see here. And these two conjunctions close both in on each other on the 22nd. That was the one strongest marker of that day, which I already pointed out as being a very, very eventful day, likely opening the doors to some big Pandora's box, as this is strongly indicating here. Jupiter, by the way, also right close to the ascendant, is indicating that we see some very loud happenings. Interestingly enough, we had a similar configuration of Jupiter here a year ago when that happened. This last year also was naturally, as we can see in retrospect, a very loud year. Lots of unexpected twists and turns and openings and revelations and side stories. I guess if anything can be said, if we think back where we were 12 months ago, I guess all of us have gone through some tremendous expansion of mind, whichever level we started at. So this keeps being indicated, this is going on. This is definitely even edging up a few levels, as the energy is so much more intense than it was a year ago. we're really at the pinnacle in history, this can be said, and what will unfold over the next few weeks and months will be biblical. Those of you who are tuned into what's happening will not be surprised when I say that. So just wanna say one more thing also, is that CYLLARUS, right? CYLLARUS is an interesting little body. It's a centaur planet, and it was exactly in opposition to Jupiter pretty much simultaneously when Saturn entered Aquarius, as I'm saying here, actually an hour prior. So that is a signature which we also will be seeing in the three-dimensional world unraveling. CYLLARUS is a very interesting character. Was married to Hilonome. They're both centaurs. Hilonome was killed in battle. She is a very beautiful, sweet energy who is all about wanting to heal and get things better, and takes on that role of being sacrificed, literally. And CYLLARUS, her husband, is deeply in love with that energy of Hilonome, and as she is dying, he is ready to kill himself and to follow her. Now the symbology of that is that CYLLARUS is service oriented and is ready to give its life for whatever the cause it might be. He is called CYLLARUS, is also related to a very keen and sharp mind of analysis of what is going on. So CYLLARUS is quite a character here at this powerful point, opposing Jupiter right at the 7th house cusp. So let me go back here to this chart here, the global chart, and then we move on. Let's see what comes next, right? So yes, today, now Jupiter entered Aquarius. Now I will do a second one here on that theme. I will just do a next sequel here. I'll keep them shorter. I guess that's what makes them more attractive, these little clips. So I leave it for now. Thank you so much, and yes, talk to you soon again. I love you all. Okay.